Raj. I am a director of partnerships here at UC. I'm first going to be talking about the international partnership GloMed at the University of Cincinnati has, and then I'll turn it over to the directors of partnerships from Loyola to discuss their local partnerships. So to go on to the partnership that the University of Cincinnati has with our partner organization, we are first talking about SAW, which stands for Social Action for Children and Women. It was founded in 2000 by Burmese refugees and migrants who saw the need to assist women and children specifically who were displaced along the Thai-Burma border. Um, since then, they've expanded to provide support services in terms of health, education, and safe housing. In fact, they've recently moved to a new compound, and at this compound, they have shelters to house children, as well as orphans and students who are studying at their schools. But the project that GloMed and SAW collaborate on gets SAW out into the communities. This is the Community Health Outreach Program, and this is a program that is promoting health education among migrant workers, target communities of migrant workers who are in a region along the Thailand-Myanmar border that is a bit rural and a little harder to access, but SAW visits these communities. They host workshops with participants from the community as well as trained peer educators from the community themselves. These workshops cover health education topics, wellness techniques, family planning tools and demonstrations. There are a lot of materials and needs that SAW can provide to these communities based on what the peer educators report to us or report to SAW. So CHOP is a program that is funded by the GloMed at the University of Cincinnati. It is our goal each year to provide for the budget for this program. And this is how we are working to address the needs of Burmese migrants living in Thailand. So if we move on to the next slide, I've collected a few pictures here that describe the partnership aspect. More specifically, these are pictures taken during grow trips. On the left are pictures from the in-person grow trips where we would interact with the children living at SAW's shelters. Grow interns would work at the office during the day, SAW and would then feed us dinner each day. And then after recess, we would host English practice sessions. So that's the picture in the bottom left of me hosting a class with 8 students. We practiced English, we played a lot of games. This is something that SAW needs, or at least these students need to practice English. It's something that we've discussed earlier with regards to that TOEFL exam. They also have to take the GED in order to apply for university to international programs. So this is something that Grow interns have worked on in person. Then last year when we went virtual, the Grow interns continued that with Zoom calls that we held weekly with these students to practice their English. That transitioned into interview practice that we did with the specific intention of their university applications, which are happening soon. So we are very lucky to have this connection, this bond with both our primary contact at our organization, we call him ATL, as well as several of the students there. We tried hosting a virtual game night just a few weeks ago with a few of the students to form connections. So I just briefly wanted to touch on a few of the challenges because one of those challenges is the fact that ATL is our primary contact. It's who we speak to the most at SAW. But he's a university student and he's soon to graduate. He's soon to move on from SAW. And we need to identify a new person to work with. And we would call ATL such a critical component of our partnership. Despite the distance that separates Cincinnati with Mae Sot, Thailand, despite the time difference, ATL is someone we can rely on. And we're looking for another person who can fill his shoes in order to continue our partnership. With that, we'll turn it over to Loyola.
Right. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisette. I'm one of the co-directors of partnerships along with Grace, who I think you'll hear from shortly. I know she just lost power randomly. So,
I'm back.
okay, she's back. Sorry about that blip, but I will go on to introduce our partner. So we work with Centro Romero, and we've had a 4-year partnership with them so far. And they're a community-based organization, like a 15-minute walk from campus. So we're really lucky to have a local partner that's really close. But they work to provide a variety of services for the immigrant and refugee populations of Northeast Chicago. And they've been in the community for over 30 years. So they provide legal services, support for victims of domestic violence, adult education, a youth program, just to name a few. But we work directly with their youth program, specifically their high school program called BRAVE. And BRAVE stands for Building Resilience Against Violence Engagement. And what BRAVE focuses on is basically it's an after-school program for high school students to provide opportunities for community engagement, academic support services, and overall just guidance to a path after high school, such as college. And we work directly with their site coordinator, Jackie, to organize different projects with the program. And Grace will now speak on some projects we've done in the past and currently are working on.
Hi, everyone. I'm Grace, like Lisette said. I'm the other director of partnerships. So before, when we could go in person, we did a lot of workshops, which was really exciting. So we asked the students what they were interested in. We did like one on physical fitness. I led like a yoga class. It was really fun. And then we've done others for like science experiments and stuff. And pretty regularly, we would just go and like volunteer and like come in for their discussions that they would have every Friday, which was really cool. And we actually had a mentorship program for a brief moment. And that's the picture you can see on the left. We had what's called our mentorship mixers. And we had like a lot of fun activities with the students. So there we were like painting canvases, and it was a lot of fun. And now virtually we've done a lot of like virtual events on Zoom. The students still go after school to Centro. So we still have a lot of retention with the students, which is great. So we did actually a Q&A for, yeah, we played soccer. Yerch just said that in the chat. And we recently did a Q&A for college, like recent graduates from high school. And they asked us a lot of questions about, you know, what's it like to go to college right now? And in general, it was really exciting. A lot of the students actually got into Loyola. So they were asking us like specific questions about that. And then actually it's really cool. They're transitioning to focus more on like community outreach, and specifically with the vaccine. And so there was an event where different Globe Med students were paired up with Brave students, and we asked them like questions about the vaccine, and they had to like answer them. And it was kind of like role playing, like how they would actually go out into the community and have to answer those questions to people that they were asking. And then finally, we've never had a grow internship. And so we're actually implementing that for the first time this summer, which is going to be really exciting. And hopefully our 2 interns can actually go in person and be able to volunteer. So that's kind of what we've been up to now, and kind of in the future too. And we also just kind of wanted to touch on some positives of local that we found with our partner. And one big thing is obviously proximity. It's really cool to walk down the street like 15 minutes away and you're there. And it just really provides a cool connection to the community. And you really feel like you are making an impact and getting to know the community around Loyola, which is really cool. Unless that's going to finish up with a few challenges we found too.
Yeah, so I think for us, our biggest challenge has been just like adapting to the dynamic nature of a community organization. And that can mean so many things, but I think one thing I'll touch on specifically that has been our biggest challenge, and it's actually kind of similar to one of UC's challenge you guys mentioned, but we have had a lot of staff turnover, specifically with the coordinator of the Brave program. And we're on our 3rd person that we're working with. And the first transition was a little more difficult because we didn't really know how to handle it. And it was kind of the first time we were facing that kind of challenge. But we just had another transition in leadership a couple just last month. And that transition was actually a lot smoother. And we found it was because we focused a lot more on relationship building during COVID. Now we have a lot more limited things we could do with Centro. So we focus more on just relationship building with the site coordinator. So she helped us have a smoother transition with a new leader. And with the Grow internship, we feel like we're going to be able to build more context within the organization to help us be able to adapt if there's more transitions in leadership or any other blips. So those are some of the challenges we've had, but we really like working with a community, a local partner, and we're really fortunate to have that opportunity.
Okay, so thank you so much, Partnerships. Jonathan, I see you talking. Take it away.
Yeah, last breakout session of the night. So please make sure that you get a chance to introduce yourself to everybody in your room, share social media if you haven't already. I will drop the link to the notes document in the chat again. Just scroll down and there will be another set of questions and another box for you to put your notes in. And we will be back in here in about 10 minutes to see what everyone's thinking.